Hey there, a very good afternoon to all of you. And I'm going to tell you, it's pretty weird, by the way. I'm Kino Cummings. I'm normally on the other side of a press conference, and I'm chairing one today. So it's amazing having all of you here with us. And welcome to this special virtual event. We're going to be making a major education announcement with the launch of a very exciting initiative, of course, from UCT Online High School. My name, as I said before, is Kino Cummings. I am the head of culture at UCT Online High School. And I've been tasked with the job of chairing this press conference today, and I will behave myself, I do promise. Now, before we start, we've got a couple of distinguished guests I'd love to welcome and introduce you to. Half of them don't need any introduction, quite frankly, but we'll start off with the University of Cape Town Vice-Chancellor, Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng, an absolute powerhouse who will be starting off this morning. Then the UCT Online High School Director and Principal, another amazing person that I'm blessed to work with. Her name is YANDISWA, XHAKAZA, and our Deputy Principal at UCT Online High School, SIPHO, MPISANE. And I'm sure if he's got some time, he can also show you that he's got some really amazing skills with the drums, but we won't go into that right now. And then last and definitely not least, the Cambridge academic consultant, Tessa Fenter. So I now hand over to Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng, and she'll be your host today. Professor Phakeng.
Thank you so much, Kino. Thank you. It's such a wonderful morning. Good morning. Oh, it's 12 o'clock, so it's good day. Sanbonani, Dumelang, Molweni. It's so good to be here with you a year down the line since we launched the UCT Online High School, which is very much consistent with our vision. UCT's Vision 2030 is about giving South Africans the tools to unleash their own potential to create a fair and just society. And the most important tool every South African needs is affordable, quality education that will qualify them for employment or a university degree. This is one important way we can close the inequality gap in our country. Closing the inequality gap is a necessity, not only for the university sector, but for everybody in the country. Sadly, the education gulf in South Africa is widening. Our future as a nation depends on narrowing that divide and educating our people, particularly young people who have the energy and the will to help build a fair and just society. They are calling for it, but they're not just calling for it. They also want to build it, and we should create the opportunity for that to happen. With this in mind, in July 2021, the University of Cape Town announced the launch of the UCT Online High School, the first university on the African continent to do so. With over 13,000 applications in 2021, we were overwhelmed by the response from the market. We worked tirelessly to scale up our staff and systems to accommodate the 5,000 learners who started their new school journey with us in January 2022. The UCT Online High School set out to increase access to high-quality schooling, also to embed innovative, scalable, digital and technological solutions into service delivery and contribute to closing the high school and tertiary education graduation gap. As the first university in Africa to start an online high school, we got to reimagine the learning process from the ground up. Together with our partner, the Valencia Institute, a South African education technology company, we are pushing the boundaries of what's possible to deliver quality, affordable education at scale. Is it easy? No, it's not. Is it necessary? Absolutely. Have we made mistakes since we started? Of course we did. Are we continuing to innovate every day? Definitely yes. That's what we are all about. Innovation as we find solutions to the most pressing problem in our country of education. Speaking of innovation, we'd like to now play you a video to introduce two major additions to the UCT Online High School's ecosystem before I hand over back to Kino.
As Africa's leading university, the University of Cape Town has chosen to shoulder the responsibility to be at the forefront of transformation on the African continent, a challenge we willingly embrace. Our mission is simple: to unleash Africa's potential to help create a fair and just society. There is no doubt that we live in two South Africas. The one South Africa is represented by the top 3% of schools. These schools are well-resourced and together have more learners achieving distinctions in mathematics than the remaining 97% of high schools in South Africa combined. The other South Africa is represented by the majority of schools in our country where learners' academic abilities can span more than 5 grade levels in one class. And out of 100 children who start school, only 6 will achieve an undergraduate degree. Sadly, the gulf between the two South Africas is widening. Yet the fate of all South Africans is knit together, and our future success depends on narrowing this divide and educating our people. It is our belief that the most important tool every South African needs is an affordable, quality education, one that will qualify them for employment or a university degree. This is the only way we can close the inequality gap. It is a necessity, not only for the university sector, but for everybody in the country. This is why we chose to change the face of education in South Africa forever by launching the UCT Online High School in 2022, the most affordable online private school in South Africa. Our school is purpose-built to allow South African learners to work towards achieving their national senior certificate from anywhere in the country. We revisited all the fundamental assumptions about where and how learning should happen, placing emphasis on impeccable support, with each learner having access to a dedicated support coach throughout their entire career. By providing structured flexibility, a framework which allows learners to work anytime from anywhere within well-defined boundaries, and placing individual mastery right at the center of our philosophy, ensuring that each learner masters every module before moving on to the next one. That way, they do not progress with gaps in their tree of knowledge. As part of our initial offering, we also launched UCT Online High School's free curriculum in partnership with the Michael and Susan Dale Foundation. This entirely free online school platform allows any guardian, any learner or educator to access our full CAPS National Senior Certificate curriculum. Because money should not be a barrier to those wanting to learn. A year and some 5,000 CAPS learners later, we're immensely pleased to be able to offer an additional curriculum in the form of the Cambridge Assessment International Education. This curriculum will be the most affordable Cambridge International Curriculum qualification in Africa. Cambridge International is one of the world's most prestigious international curricula, recognized by over 2,000 tertiary institutions worldwide, including all major local universities. With nearly 1 million students in 10,000 schools in 160 countries, the Cambridge International qualification is a powerful global passport to the future. As the most affordable, fully accredited Cambridge International School in Africa, we are very proud to be able to offer this qualification to learners in South Africa and beyond. Starting with our closest neighbors, we aim to expand our reach to the rest of the African continent in the near future, and we're only getting started. In our tireless quest to innovate and be at the forefront of creating an equitable and innovative education system on the continent, we are pleased to announce that we are launching an adult MATRIC program delivered entirely online. Our adult MATRIC provides a second chance for those who were unable or never given the opportunity to write their national senior certificate when they were young, because it's never too late to enable a better future for you and your family. At any given time, there are about 250,000 people working towards a MATRIC certificate outside the full-time in-school system. Since an average of 800,000 candidates write MATRIC examinations each year, this means that about a third of the total matric cohort are on the fringe or non-traditional learners. Yet, as second chances, the educational journeys of these non-traditional learners often go unrecognized. Despite their grit and perseverance, second chance matrics are rarely reported on publicly. We are here to celebrate and support these learners, and UCT Online High School Adult Matric offers a viable and affordable alternative for adults to study online and part-time towards their matric certificate. A matric certificate can transform young and old people's futures alike by signaling their knowledge and skills to employers, creating pathways to further education, and ultimately improving their chances of finding work, keeping a job, and earning a high salary. Given the impact that COVID-19 and lockdown has had on schooling, more young people are likely to seek alternative routes to matric qualification. This may be especially true for future matriculants whose foundational learning has been disrupted by the pandemic. It is more important than ever to report on, support, and expand second chances in our country. You see, UCT Online High School is not just a school. It's a backbone of an entire ecosystem which has been designed to service learners from a broad range of socioeconomic and academic needs. We believe in a brighter future for all, and we are doing everything that we can to make it happen. We are UCT. Come and join us today and make your future official.
Thank you so much for that, Prof. Phakeng. And I've got to tell you, I love the clip. And I love the clip not just as someone who works at UCT Online High School, but I love the clip as a parent with kids. It's been such an honor. Previous part of my life was spent taking calls from people telling me how they're struggling with the schooling system, how COVID has depressed their young children. I mean, it's a reality. You're probably one of those parents that had to grapple with it. And for the first time, I can really see the light in education. So it's an absolute honor and pleasure to be part of this. This to me is not a job. It's actually a passion. So I want to introduce you to our next guest, who is the director and school principal, yet another individual who cares deeply. It's really about not just impact, the throwaway word, it's about really making a difference in people's lives. So YANDISWA XHAKAZA has been at the helm of UCT Online High School for quite some time now. And I'm going to hand over to YANDISWA to just give us a high-level vision of UCT Online High School. YANDISWA, over to you.
Thank you, Kino. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to all the media houses that are present here today. And we're quite thrilled, really, today to be making this announcement. But before we get into that, just quick reflections. So 2022 has been an exciting year for UCT Online High School. We were not quite certain what the response to a new online high school would be. And we've been pleasantly surprised with just over 13,000 applications in our first year. And that's obviously indicative of an interest and a desperate need for a solution that is more accessible and affordable. And as we approach our first birthday, it's important to reflect on how far we've come. Mr. MPISANE, our deputy principal, will speak directly to some of the day-to-day successes of UCT Online High School, but I would like to take this opportunity to address the larger picture. When we started UCT Online High School, we set out to provide world-class education by turning physical limitations into digital opportunities for Africa's children. We are, in fact, aware that many South African learners cannot afford our current offering, and we are continuously working tirelessly to grow our scholarship base. And this year, the UCT Online High School Scholarship Program, in partnership with Sanlam, was able to provide 90 young learners with scholarships to cover 100% of their tuition fees for the CAPS curriculum for the duration of their studies with us. Partnering with corporate companies and other philanthropic organizations will continue to be a priority for us, because we see that as one of the ways that would help us provide access to communities and people who ordinarily would not be able to afford UCT Online High School. Now, with the intention of making high quality education accessible to all, the generous support from the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation has enabled us to launch Open UCT, which is a free online CAPS curriculum available to any learner, teacher, or parent in South Africa and beyond. We have thousands of individuals who are already benefiting from this initiative right now. Again, learning online, I mean, we are still very new, and we are learning a lot of lessons as we are going. And learning online can be lonely and isolating. That's why we have been intentional about creating a strong virtual community of learners through virtual clubs, and encouraging guardians to set up regular meetups for learners to meet and interact. This past year, we've really seen our school ethos start to form, encapsulated perfectly by our school song called "We Are the Future." And we are a diverse, multicultural institution of learners from across the world. It's been so wonderful to see learners from all walks of life come together, not just to learn, but to share their stories, discover their passions, and grow as a collective cohort. It is with great excitement that UCT Online High School is now able to offer you the Cambridge International Curriculum at the most affordable price in Africa. Tessa will speak more on the specifics of the curriculum in a minute, but if I may just say what an honor it is to partner with one of the world's most prestigious institutions. Together, we are providing access to a truly world-class education from the comfort of one's own home, not just to learners in our own country, but those throughout Africa and the world at large. Our current cohort of learners will continue to spread across Africa into the world, taking advantage of this global network and expanding their worldviews through friendships they would not ordinarily be exposed to in their immediate communities. We are also very pleased to announce that we will soon be launching Adult MATRIC. Almost a third of all people working towards their MATRIC certificate do so outside of the full-time in-school system. Our online Adult MATRIC program will provide a second chance for those who were unable or never had the opportunity to write their national senior certificate when they were young. And this is really just primarily because we believe it's never too late to create a better future for yourself. And for the majority of today's session, we'll be talking about the launch of our Cambridge offering. And there will be more information very soon about our adult MATRIC offering. And as the Vice Chancellor said, our vision is a large one. We don't just believe in a brighter future for everyone. We're doing everything we can to, in fact, make it happen. And as we continue to grow, we'll continue to reflect. We'll continue to refine our product, and we'll keep engaging with our learners and our guardians and the wider community that we support and work with. It's important to just note that pioneering anything new is never easy. There are growing pains and lots of short-term hurdles that we have to jump. We will continue to refine and improve our offerings as we are committed to the vision of accessible, high-quality education for all. I'm going to hand over back to Kino so that the rest of our speakers can also get a chance to talk.
YANDISWA, thank you so much for that. Once again, I listen to these words, but I obviously experience it in action. It's just amazing. If one looks at the school, it's an organic, thriving institution. I can tell you that much. It's packed full of tomorrow's leaders, and it's not just some throwaway phrase. I recently interviewed a couple of students at UCT Online High School that are, either excelling in sport or have started their own businesses. And the one thing that all of them mentioned to me is the fact that they can still do those things that they're passionate about. And because of how we deliver, the model being used, they are able to complete their schooling in time as well. Not everything's been perfect, but there's a great team that works on this. We are going to be talking about Cambridge in a minute, but before we do that, I want to introduce you to our deputy principal, SIPHO MPISANE. Now, I've got to tell you, I did an interview with the deputy principal the other day on TV, and everybody thought he was a student. But what an amazing human being, youthful in nature, gets young people and is passionate about education. So SIPHO is going to tell you a little bit more about what a day at UCT Online High School is actually like. SIPHO, over to you.
Thanks so much, Kino. I do hope to stay young, at heart at least. Thanks for the intro. Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's quite an exciting time for us. Just to echo what the Vice Chancellor and the Principal have said, it's been a privilege to be part of this inspiring UCT Online High School journey so far. And personally, I'm so excited for the bright future that we have ahead of us. Now, on a day-to-day basis, which is what I'm mostly going to be touching on, our learning design team has been hard at work developing content specifically tailored to our CAPS curriculum, one that is relevant, modernized, and sensitive to the unique demands placed on today's South African learner. Our tech team works hard at refining and developing our purpose-built model, which continues to innovate and evolve as we push the boundaries of what is possible in the online space. And there's so much possibility in this space. But most importantly, our focus, which is our learners, have been hard at work. They've been engaging with their modules, getting through the cycle tests, working towards their exams quite diligently. And of course, a school of our size, like any other school, learners will always go through ups and downs, which is why I'd like to take a moment to talk about the backbone of our school, our incredible support system, which in my mind has been one of the biggest prize takeaways from this first year. So by separating the pastoral and teacher roles, we've been able to provide our learners with far more day-to-day support, while allowing teachers to focus on what they do best, which is creating content and answering questions. Our incredible team of support coaches are dedicated entirely to learner well-being. We refer to them quite passionately as our superheroes. That's how incredible the work they do on a day-to-day basis is. They're available daily for learner check-ins, encouraging learners to stay on track with their coursework, and really just caring holistically for the learner. And based on guardian and learner feedback, they've been one of the biggest successes and a service that we're going to continue building on going forward. So coinciding with our commitment to learner well-being are our counseling and career guidance services, ensuring that our learners are nurtured outside and beyond the classroom environment. I think we are really big on balance, holistic approach to education. And as YANDISWA said, it's been wonderful starting to see our school identity shine through as well. We've had great learner interactions through our 50 virtual clubs, focusing on 4 key areas of well-being, creativity, skills development, and special interests. I'm also excited to say that this year we have successfully launched our Guardian Forum, an important collaboration with guardians to strengthen our partnership and engagement with the greater UCT Online High School community. Now, the cornerstone of any school is the partnership between parents and the school. Education is our shared responsibility, as much as it is our shared success. And our Guardian Forum is an important part of that. So quite an important development for us this year. Our student engagement team has been equally hard at work and have hosted a number of successful events in Cape Town and Johannesburg, including our highly successful Youth Day at the Battery Park, in which learners were able to engage in person. And I excitedly got to meet Kino there for the first time, took a couple of selfies. I'm officially a fan. Thank you, Kino. A keystone of UCT Online High School life has been our fresh take on weekly assemblies, also hosted by Kino. We use these as a creative platform for us to engage with our school community while maintaining connection and being informative on important updates. They allow us to shape the culture of UCT Online High School by fleshing our values and showcasing amazing things that our learners achieve on a weekly basis. And we've got an amazing set of learners. And weekly, we get to see the exciting and innovative things that they do. We get to interview them and learn more about what they do outside the virtual classroom. I really must say that it's only when you get to see so many inspiring young faces together that you get the true sense of the depth and the magnitude of this school and the vast wealth of human potential walking through our virtual corridors. Academically, the year has still got a ways to run, of course, but our learners have found their feet and we have ironed out many of the kinks in our system. And we're all focused on working towards this year's final examinations. 2023 will see our first ever batch of grade 12s, which is what we are all very excited about, not to mention the brilliant new Cambridge curriculum, which Tessa is going to speak about in a minute. It really has been an honor for us to be part of leading such a profound industry change. And I take my hat off to parents and learners who can see their place in the future and are trusting us as UCT Online High School to transport them there. So here's to making history. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
SIPHO, thank you once again, man. Really, all I can say, just listening to all of this, we have our learners in mind. They first in line when it comes to our thoughts, and all the best of luck to our matriculants of 2023. Now, I have been, as SIPHO said, part of a couple of these assemblies, all of them as a matter of fact. And one of the things that I like doing in those assemblies is actually storytelling, right? Because that's one way to engage young people with story. And a story I quickly want to share with you, because I can't go over a minute, right? Is that I mentioned this young lady earlier, one of our learners. She had to do the Africa Champs, I think it was in Nigeria, and it was clashing with school. What she was able to do was speak to her coach. They made a plan. She went there, and she also shared one of the stories. She came back with some gold and some silver, and she crashed at the end. And she told that story, but we turned that story into a learning, into a lesson, which basically says that you're not always going to win. You're not always going to come first. But there are some important lessons that you learn. So some really amazing stuff brewing amongst this diverse group of learners, and they're truly diverse. Many making connections, having their meetups. Now onto that big announcement today, Cambridge International. Let me say no more. I'm going to hand over to our very passionate Cambridge academic consultant, Tessa Fenter. Tessa, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Kino, and good afternoon, everybody. It's so very exciting to be here. I'm really excited to talk to you today about this wonderful new offering that we've been quietly working on behind the scenes for a while now. So I can imagine that the first question in most people's minds is, why Cambridge? I think in many ways, the name really speaks for itself. As one of the most renowned educational institutions on the planet, Cambridge has a proud history of excellence and innovation and has been refining its school curriculum for the past 160 years. Currently, the Cambridge Assessment International Education is offered in over 10,000 schools in more than 160 countries, and it has more than 8 million learners writing their Cambridge examinations every year. I think a key thing here is that there's been a real alignment of values, and I'll chat a moment about those values from a Cambridge perspective. But something that really stands out to me about Cambridge, and a quote that I think encapsulates this, reads as follows. It says, "The illiterate of the future are not those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn." And so I think that the reason that UCT Online High School has chosen to partner with Cambridge International, it is multifold, but it really does begin with an alignment of values. And the key attributes of a Cambridge learner that we will hope to encapsulate with our UCT Online High School learners is that they are confident, responsible, reflective, innovative, and engaged. We know that the world is changing at a rapid rate of knots, as is our access to information. And so what becomes important is not just what we study, but how we use the tools of knowledge to unlock a better future for all. Together, we are reimagining the future, and the Cambridge International Curriculum provides learners with a skill set that is fully aligned to the core ethos of our school, as well as those set out in UCT's Vision 2030. But I think let's take a moment and take a deeper dive into the curriculum itself. The curriculum itself is heavily researched, academically focused, and one that is renowned for higher order thinking skills and is exceptionally well suited to those learners wishing to pursue academic excellence. The curriculum itself takes a spiral approach to learning. A spiral curriculum is one in which there is a constant revisiting of topics, subjects, or themes throughout the entire course. This concept of a spiral curriculum is not simply about the repetition of a topic taught, but it also requires a deepening of understanding every time a learner engages with that particular subject. I think the second point that made the Cambridge International so attractive was our ability to leverage off our existing cutting-edge learner model to provide a truly world-class curriculum at an affordable price point. As the VC has already mentioned, we are now the most affordable, fully accredited Cambridge International School in Africa at 3,300 Rand per month, a position which we feel we can only build on over time. That, along with our deep desire to expand into Africa, where education challenges are many and opportunities are few, made Cambridge International the obvious choice. A Cambridge International qualification is quite literally an academic passport to a brighter global future for many aspiring young Africans. The curriculum itself is recognized by over 2,000 tertiary institutions worldwide. Our learners will automatically be eligible to apply to any university in the United Kingdom, over 800 universities in the United States, and many other destinations, including Canada, Australia, Singapore, Germany, and the Netherlands. I do also want to stress, however, that this offering is not only for learners wishing to study and work overseas. All major South African tertiary institutions accept learners with their AS levels. I want to turn a little bit and talk about what next year looks like for this particular offering. So ultimately, UCT Online High School will be offering the full bouquet of lower secondary, IGCSE, AS, and A levels. But for 2023, we will be launching with lower secondary and our first year of IGCSE. To give you some further information, lower secondary encapsulates year 7, 8, and 9. And this phase provides learners with a broad curriculum, giving them a strong, well-rounded education. After lower secondary, learners move into upper secondary, which is otherwise known as IGCSE, and this is equivalent to year 10 and 11. IGCSE is the most popular international qualification for 15 to 16-year-olds, and it focuses on core academic and language development. Our first set of IGCSE exams will be written in November 2024. Post-IGCSE, learners move into what is known as Cambridge Advanced, which is the AS and A-level qualifications, or Year 12 and Year 13. This is one of the strongest academic high school qualifications you can exit with, streamlining you into a focused career path. UCT Online High School is set to expand into AS and A-levels in 2025. So with all of that in mind, I'm sure that there are some questions about how will this new offering affect current learners at UCT Online High School. So I'm extremely excited to say that our Cambridge International and Adult MATRIC will be completely separate, independent offerings that fall under the greater UCT Online High School umbrella. As such, there will be little to no impact on learners currently working towards their South Africa National Senior Certificate. We are busy onboarding additional staff for these new offerings, but ultimately there should be no interruption to our dedicated teams who will continue to grow and improve our current South African National Senior Certificate offering. We will take any more questions that you may have about this product and its offering during our question and answer session. But I would just like to add that as an educator, how wonderful it is to be able to offer the very best of local and international curriculums through the game-changing medium of education. To reiterate YANDISWA in the beginning, our goal has always been to provide quality education to Africa's children by turning physical limitations into digital opportunities. The fact that many African children can now get a brilliant online education at a reasonable local price without having to leave their loved ones or family to do so is, in my mind, really something worth celebrating. Thank you so much. And Kino, I will pass back to you.
Thank you, Tessa. Now, my mother's not listening, so I reckon I can say this, but she'd probably throw something at me because she wouldn't want me to put her through that again. But I'm listening to all of this, and you make me want to go back to school, right? But not quite. So I'm going to leave there. But I just think it's an amazing offering. I find it inspiring what the team is doing, under this UCT Online High School umbrella. The possibilities that are being unleashed, I just think, are phenomenal. And it certainly is answering a lot of those questions that, you currently in the media, when I was still in the media, people had. So I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And an ideal match for certain. And I've no doubt that between the power of UCT, the passion of the Valencia Institute, and also the academic excellence of Cambridge, you guys are going to change the world. We all will be changing the world. Now, we are about to conclude, but as Tessa alluded to, we will be taking some questions. So you've put those questions to us. I'm going to hop straight into those. So the first one is for our Deputy Principal, SIPHO. Can you give some examples of the existing virtual clubs at UCT Online High School?
Certainly, without taking up all the time for Q&As, because we do have quite an array, but music is a popular one. Coding, we've got book clubs, debating, gaming. I know, you were interviewing a young man in grade 8 who is designing and coding his own games.
Yes.
So there's quite a lot, and also as learners gain interest or bring their own ideas of the virtual clubs they want to see, we try to incorporate those as well.
Yeah, I personally am a big fan of the gaming one, by the way. Just hashtag, just saying. So SIPHO, thank you for that. Over to our principal now, YANDISWA. Why do you think at least more parents and learners are choosing to study online?
Thanks for the question, Kino. So I think for most parents, it's probably because they're hitting two birds with one stone, right? Digital skills, working productively online, which becomes a byproduct, of learning online. And things like self-discipline, managing your own time, a skill which we all need and kids need in order for them to actually succeed in the world of work and university. And they learn that in high school by studying online. But also flexibility, for those that are traveling, professional athletes, learners who struggle with mainstream schools for a range of different reasons, and cost effectiveness. When you break down the costs, some parents really realize that it is an alternative. So there's a range of different reasons that we see parents choosing online schools.
Indeed. And that learning model as well, hey, just how these young people are actually assisted is just, it blows my mind, continues doing that. Now, Tessa, this one to you. Now, you've answered this, but I think it's worthwhile mentioning it again, right? What's the monthly fee for the Cambridge offering, and how does this actually compare? So a bit of benchmarking here to the typical prices for students at Cambridge International Schools in Southern Africa in particular.
Thanks, Kino. Yeah, such an important question. So the monthly fees for the Cambridge offering will be 3,300 Rand per month. And as I think we have all said, or at least alluded to, it is the most affordable Cambridge offering on the African continent, which is really very exciting.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. Moving on to some more questions here. Let's see. There's another one, Tessa, just when you thought you could relax. There's another one for you. So what subjects are available at IGCSE level?
Thanks, Kino. Keeping me on my toes this afternoon. Great question as well. So for IGCSE, which we'll be offering the first year of from January 2023, we will be offering Afrikaans as a second language, biology, business studies, chemistry, English language, geography, history, information and communication technology, mathematics, and physics. So a really nice combination of subjects that touches on the sciences and the humanities. There really is something for everybody at IGCSE.
Excellent. Now, Yandiswa, another one for you. And, you know, when my good friend SIPHO Hotsticks Mabusa, when he eventually did his matric, I was just so elated. And, you know, the fact that people are coming back and they want to get that qualification, and the stats that you threw out there as well, you know, truly phenomenal. A third of all people finishing matric, right? Not doing, well, I mean, I'm not going to repeat what you said. But how will the adult matric actually roll out?
Thanks, Kino. So we will be sharing more details in the next few weeks, but the program itself will be delivered entirely online and part-time, making it easy for adults who might be working. And we will be launching it officially starting next year, 2023.
Okay, SIPHO, your question. Out of 13,000 applications that were received in the first year, how many learners are currently enrolled at UCT Online High School?
Yeah, I think, firstly, you know, that number speaks to the growing interest and the need for quality education at an affordable price. And we continue to see a lot of interest because of what we're offering. So out of that 13,000, we currently have just under 5,000 learners enrolled with us. It was important, obviously, to make sure that we start the year off with numbers that, you know, kind of make sense, in that, you know, you don't want to start too big, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we are responding to the need that is there. And our model and our purpose and our vision is always, as you know, the Prof alluded to earlier, we want to scale quality education, right? So those numbers, I really think, just speak to the growing interest and the need for what we have to offer.
And then, thank you, SIPHO. Thank you for that. And I'm going to echo your words there. For Yandiswa, how much is the adult matric program going to cost?
All right, so it's going to be 2,195 rands a month over a 12-month period. We do have a finance solution available to bring down the monthly payments, and you can check out our website for more information.
Okay, which takes me to the second question. Of course, well, I think you've answered that, so I'm not even going to go out. I'm not even going to go into that. You can check out the website, as Yandiswa said, for more information on that one. Another one for you, Yandiswa. And will funding, bursary, scholarships be made available for people who can't afford to pay the fees? I mean, it is something that you spoke about earlier, but I think once again, worthwhile just readdressing that.
Sure. Yes, so definitely. But we currently only have scholarships for the CAPS offering and not for the Cambridge offering.
Okay. And Tessa, another question for you. What type of equipment is needed in terms of laptops, mobile phones, tablets, etc.?
Thanks so much, Kino. Yes, so what we do ask of our learners and our families is that they have a laptop or a desktop in their homes. Tablets and mobile devices are a bit challenging to get the full experience. We also recommend that they have a scanner to scan and upload work. And then we also suggest or encourage students, particularly in South Africa, to look at a UPS so that they can still get online during load shedding. But lots more information can be found on our website around the specifics for equipment that is needed.
Okay, perfect. Data, good internet connections, etc. Obviously, everything that goes with getting a clear, good signal. And I just want to, we're going to leave it there. I want to thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you're as excited as I am about this. Like I said right at the beginning, I initially fielded over years, decades, challenges, etc., in relation to the education system. I can tell you honestly, this is a great solution, and it really, once again, is an honor being part of it. So for those members of the media, you will find a media pack in your inbox. It'll have the press release in there. It'll have the links to the website if you're looking for that, and also the contact details for follow-up interviews. I just want to wish you an amazing day. Thank you once again for joining us.